We're at a little bit higher elevation. We're over 6,000 feet here, and on the Texas highest highway. Mount Locke's behind me, and the old observatory is right here. It was a little taunting because you would have these heavy climbs and then drops just as low again, so you have to climb it. There was like 3 of those, and I thought, you know, my granny gear's not working, I'm probably gonna have to get off the bike, but I was able to stay on the bike.
And I think my bicycle weighed 500 pounds today. I'm just patiently getting myself up all of those hills, however necessary, and that included a lot of walking. It did, however, also include a lot of standing on my bike, which is pretty rad, because I didn't have the muscles for that a month ago, or the balance.
Lagging for me is fine. Dead Brittany's not okay. So she rolled up, and we're kind of getting a little break here.
Lead my country. If you're gonna say it's free, I'm gonna need a little honesty. Just a few honest words. It shouldn't be that hard. Just a few honest words is all I need. And our love of freedom.
Kind of toured the town and getting food and buying food for the trip. Ran into this bookstore where this well-spoken, strong female named Laura Bell was there working at the counter.
It was really nice. There was no crime where I grew up until maybe I was 18. It was neat. I mean, it was a really nice place to grow up, and it was integrated, and I didn't know that there was a difference until I went to college. And that was the first time I experienced prejudice, and I was very angry when I saw it because I couldn't understand why anyone would judge someone by the color of their skin.
Tell me again.
Once I get home tonight, it's quiet. The only thing you hear is the coyotes and the stars. It's just a blanket of light. It's not like it is in the cities. But what I like about the bookstore is it weeds out the people that don't read. So here's all these smart women that work here, and I just wanted to be a part of it. I found when I moved out here I had to dumb down my vocabulary a lot. I kind of think any kid that doesn't have folks that read to them is deprived. I mean, we are always sort of, don't let the water run while you're brushing your teeth, you know, turn it off and don't be lazy about it. But we didn't really ever understand it. Just recently I went to Glacier National Park in Montana. What I saw was that the glaciers are melting at an extremely large rate. I mean, if polar bears are drowning, that does make me very worried. As far as the water goes, the ranch I currently live on is on top of an underwater river. We have a lot of wells, and we provide a lot of water for a lot of people. I love water. I think the water on the ranch tastes great. It's, my nephew calls it dirty water because I guess it tastes like more like dirt instead of chlorine, so it's the real deal. And in fact, most people who live in Alpine, I don't think are very well educated about the water problem, because from what I understand, in 5 to 10 years, there will not be water in Alpine. If people don't change their ways drastically, there's going to be a serious water crisis here. I just think we're doing a grand disservice to the world that we live in, and it's part of the reason I'm not sure I want to have children, because I'm not sure I want to leave anyone behind that has to sort of put up with the mess that we've created.
We are at the best bike shop in the universe. It's called Bike Man. That's John up there on the sign.
Right. That's John right there.
We love John because we came into town last night. Garrett had a broken rack. John and Garrett bonded immediately, fixed all the problems. I showed up. Then we went to the bar and we met all the cool local people. And then we stayed at the 5-star camp resort, also known as John's Backyard.
I admire the fact that you guys have the wherewithal to fundraise, do it for a good cause. Plus, you're riding questionable equipment that is 30 or 40 years old. Kind of bold of you, but you're pulling it off.
Like, he was a social worker and had done a bunch of things and got higher education.
And he has ridden the Southern Tier. He just did it last spring.
And then he's a bike mechanic, and that's his business, and that's what he loves to do, and he's made that his life. And that for me is an inspiration as, what am I doing? I'm making this my life.
So that was another cool connecting factor. He knew what we'd already done. He knows what's ahead of us.
My bike got bumped, fell over, and the camera bag opened up. And even though it was cradled in these towels, like, the camera got thrown out on the cement. Really intense for a couple minutes, and when I was analyzing the camera, but I kept the mojo up. Gravity happens. You do what you gotta do. But there was no point to let it ruin my day, and I think in the past that I really would have.
So this video diary is happening from heaven, which apparently is in Marathon, Texas, or a little glimpse of it anyway.
It's love for the land, it's love for themselves. It's hard to explain, but what a cool thing that they're doing sustainable living practices, sustainable building practices, and just creating art.
This place is the physical incarnation of a dream in my head.
People are really willing to open up and share their lives and see us for who we are right away without having to spend 10 years getting to know us, because we're out the back door the next day.
Piece of property, buildings just built of all recycled and reused materials, and amazing people living here.
Kike gave me a big tour, and he's such a cool guy. Such a sordid past that he's so willing to share and open up that I think it's going to be a great interview to do with him.
Was an Eagle Scout. I didn't ever go on a Mormon mission, but by the time I was 16 years old, I had been in a little bit of trouble, running away, trying to get out of the norm. Went in and out of jail and prison and became a homeless traveler, vagabond, so to speak. And I've been all over the United States, Canada, and Mexico, riding freight trains. You name it, I've done it. And in the morning we can talk about pretty much who I've become is trying to build things ecologically with papercrete, straw bales, mixing concrete and paper together, newspaper, to build houses and structures. This beautiful place about this place right here where we're at in Texas is this is a pocket of freedom. So we can build and build and build. There's no end limit in how long people can stay here. It's an open community. We let people in the community who don't have hot water come and use the showers and wash clothes here also. I came across this community totally by accident. I've been living in Mexico for the last 8 years. There's no money. I make maybe $90 a week, and that's working 6 days a week there. So last year, we were broke. We didn't have anything to eat, and I'm a U.S. citizen. So I decided to hitchhike into Texas and try and find a job. I sat in front of the hardware store in town in Alpine and wrote a sign. It's in the hostel, and up falls Guilford, the guy who owns this place. And he says, you really got a strong back and you can really work. I'm gonna put you to the test. So I built a sweat lodge, which is a church or a hospital to kind of take all the toxins and all the poisons out of your system. And I made a hole building the sweat lodge, and that hole I turned into a kiva. When I came here, I walked from Chihuahua, Camargo, Chihuahua, across the desert, which is what the wetbacks do all the time, and lots of them die. I know which cactuses I can eat and get all my liquids that I need. I also know how to make a solar still, which a lot of people don't. Water is a necessity in the human equation and the puzzle. In the city that I live in Mexico, there's a lake, Largo Colina, And Coca-Cola was trying to buy it. Put a fence around it, tell the fishermen you can't fish here, and sell the water, bottled water to people. So Coca-Cola, Bonafide, Nestle come in and say, we'll give you this money, and then we'll open up a plant, and we'll give a lot of you guys work, and these people do not become permanent workers. And I went to the Shell gas station to buy Coca-Cola the other day, honestly, and it's head show in Mexico. Less money to do the work. That's the problem, and that's capitalism, which is what is controlling our government today. You know what Avion is backwards? Naive. Who thought 30 years ago you'd have a bottle of water you're paying for, $1? Naive people buy it. Gatorade, Bonafide, Avion, all of that is going on in Mexico and all over the world. And in Mexico, you have to drink bottled water because the water gets you sick. You have to get filters. You have to filter your water unless you're using rainwater catchment systems. And that's kind of what we're trying to do here is rainwater catchment systems. We're not living in a peaceful world right now. We're making ourselves into a society where we are afraid to open the door and say hi to the neighbor. But I think the biggest thing that we need to deal with is break down the borders. All of the borders. Not this is Mexico, this is USA, these are Americans, these are Irish, these are people. And these people need the same amount of love, the same amount of energy that you need. What they are, not who they are.
And oh, I don't have to hide.
And Garrett is not talking because he is experimenting with silence for, he's not sure.
Begin to wear my chains. I got no
I think I'm all right with this Garrett not talking thing. It's kind of entertaining. Because normally Garrett talks a lot. We are riding our bicycles through what is apparently some of the most rural parts of West Texas. I don't know what people are talking about, that Texas is like a big sandy pit with maybe one bush. I think it's gorgeous out here.
fire and left to burn inside until I die. And if at all I've tried, but I can't find a better life.